Hello and welcome to the Rainbow Room International podcast channel. My name is Ricardo Corvey and you're joining us for our origin story, and we're on to episode 26. Can't believe we've already done 25, but we're on to episode 26, and it's actually the first one we've done in 2026, so quite like the fact that the numbers are linking up. That's good. And you're going to join us for an amazing episode today because we've got the co-salon director of Uddingston and our international artistic director, Suzie McGill, today. So it's going to be a jam-packed 2 hours. We're going to struggle to get it in my 1 hour episode and in my second hour episode, but I'm sure I will. So if you're driving, pay attention, keep your hands on the road, keep looking where you're going, and if you're watching on YouTube, enjoy. Today's podcast has been sponsored by Mataki Scissors, and I'm an ambassador for the brand, and I've been using them now for about 7 months, and they have been amazing. The fact that they're a British-based company, the fact that we can pick up the phone and work with them and we can get everything sharpened with them has been absolutely unique. So today's podcast is brought to you with the help of Mataki Scissors. Suzie, hello.
Hello, Ricardo.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well.
Good.
Good to see you. Not that I didn't see you yesterday at the directors' meeting, but it's really good to see you.
Really good to see you.
Really good to see you. And for those watching and or listening, if you hear any heavy panting in the background, it's that the infamous Mac, one of my 2 dogs, is with us today in the studio. So you may hear his tail bashing off of stuff and just all general breathing. He'll maybe make an appearance later on at some point, but just in case you're wondering what the hell's going on, it's not us.
It's not me.
It's not us, it's the dog. Okay, so Suzie, housekeeping as usual. You've got your chocolate bar to choose from. Are you a Whisper Gold girl or are you a Lindor girl?
Between them, I would say Lindor.
Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah.
We knew that.
Wow, thanks.
There you go, William. There's your lunch. Hey, brilliant. Good. Got to pay the producer. And at time of recording, an award-nominated British Hairdresser Business Awards we've been nominated for Innovation of the Year. Innovation for a podcast, I hear you cry. But it's because of the unique way we do said podcast. It is very innovative. But so congratulations, William. Well done, sir.
And huge congratulations to you as
You're
well,
welcome.
Ricardo.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
So now we've got the important stuff out the road. That you're obviously a posh chick and you like posh chocolates. That's good. But we knew that wasn't going to be much. It was going to be much of a surprise. Pretty sure your sister picked a Lindor as well. Actually,
I'm pretty sure she would.
That's it. Right. So the beginning. Where were you from? When did you arrive in the world? Where did you arrive in the world?
So, oh my gosh, are you asking for my date of birth?
Not your date. No. Obviously not.
So I was born in Lanarkshire, and I'm from Uddingston.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from a little place called Birkinshaw, which is just at the top side of Uddingston. I'm third down the line, so
Right.
I've got 2 older sisters, and then there's myself and my sister Sam. An amazing mum and dad, and I had a brilliant childhood, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So no complaints there. And we just had a lovely normal family life, totally normal family life. My dad was a scaffolder, and my mum was a utility nurse.
Right.
So
But he wasn't just a scaffolder, was he?
He wasn't just a scaffolder,
No.
and his huge passion in life was singing. And he was a brilliant singer, my dad.
I only found this out with Sam's
Yeah.
podcast about this. That's amazing.
He used to do all the clubs, and actually had so many opportunities to do other stuff, but my mum was a total homebird.
Yeah.
And she just did not want to uproot the family, go to London. I think there was another offer for America, and my dad was just happy wife, happy life.
Aye, of course. Allegedly.
As you know.
Allegedly. The thing with that as well is that's such a timeline thing, isn't it? That guys of that generation that probably did have these sliding door moments, it just seemed so far away from reality to the guys. Whereas obviously, and one of the brilliant things today is, you know, a youngster can look online and look on, you know, TikTok or whatever and go, hey, I could do this.
Yeah.
Whereas it seems alien to these guys.
I mean, he did have amazing experiences where he sang in like the Barrowlands and all the big like dance halls in Glasgow at the time, you know. So
and was it kind of big band stuff? Was it that
really big band stuff? I mean, he is an amazing singer. I'm very biased. It was my father, so. But yeah, so that was exciting, and then you know, on a Sunday afternoon we would go to the Mail Coach sometimes to see my dad singing and stuff. So it was a really nice time.
Again, from the outside looking in and knowing yourself and Sam for the years I have done, it explains it because you're both like totally into your tunes and you're totally into your music, and it completely explains it. And you know the good ones. It's not just that you're into music, you know the good stuff. We did bring some heavy hitters for you. We did, because we just, obviously you're so innovative, we brought David Bowie obviously in the Ziggy Stardust album.
Amazing.
And because we all love a boogie, we've got Curtis Mayfield back there in the most fetching yellow suit of all time. It's a great album cover, that one. So school life, primary?
So school, I went to a school in Uddingston, St John's the Baptist, and I'm not going to lie, I was not a big fan of school.
Yeah.
I didn't get on great at school. I have got little forms of dyslexia.
Yeah.
So, and probably all the isms, tick.
Yeah.
But at the time, that wasn't really recognised, I suppose.
No.
And I just didn't get on great at school.
Yeah.
I mean, I had lovely friends and stuff, and it wasn't like I was a bad girl or anything like that. It just wasn't for me.
No.
So by the time I'd went to high school, I would say I'd pretty much checked out. And I was just really into my music, and you know, I've got colours on the day. It's very unusual for me because I'm normally swathed in the black.
Exactly.
But you know, I was really into the kind of goth scene and at that time, you know, which was like really early 80s. So when it was presented to me by I went to school, it was okay, you know, I had nice friends and stuff, so that was all good. And then when it was presented to me by my guidance teacher to go over to Hamilton College, I went, okay, and I was standing outside the college, and I looked across the road, and Irvin Ross Salon was across the road on Hamilton Road.
Amazing.
And I just thought, I'm going
there.
I had my big sister's pink jumpsuit on and her pearl stilettos. And my hair done.
Tell me it's the 80s without telling me it's the 80s.
It was the
paper
jumpsuit.
Yeah, of course.
Top line. She never knew that I was wearing it, which always used to drive her mad. And I walked straight in. I don't know where I got the confidence from, and I got the job. Brilliant. I just said I would love to work here, and they took me, and so that was where my career started, age 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's the fascinating thing, having done all of the chats with everybody, is these sliding door moments of who would you have been if you'd have turned left.
I know.
And went into the college, and you know, at that time probably got a great education and got trained really well, and that would have been you and that kind of thing. Or mid-80s Scotland and the aura of the Rusks and being in that building, and who you inevitably turned out to be. That's amazing.
Because it was like walking into just a whole world of fashion, different attitude. Everybody looked amazing. The work was outrageous, you know, and that's what the clients were getting. It's like, you know, you're having your hair cut short today, the clients are like, okay. Yeah. And they would just go for it. And it was just watching these stylists produce these avant-garde hairstyles on clients all the time. Yeah. Because the scissors had come out, you know, I don't know if you remember Alpha Belta Delta Gamma. These like scissors with all squares cut out and texturising scissors. and they were amazing at it. So it was just amazing, you know. And then Irvin and Rita won British Hairdresser of the Year, and everybody in the salon was presented with a box of pictures with a pair of white cotton gloves. Every single person, even assistants. And as so as we could just understand what was going on, and it was just very exciting times there.
That's cheeky, innit? That's a nice touch. So were you aware of them? With, you know, this idea
yeah. I knew who they were because both my sisters had their hair cut there.
Got you.
So, I mean, everybody in our area knew who they were, and everybody in Scotland, because they were so...
No, of course,
so way before their time.
Yeah.
So, I knew who they were. I just took a chance, and it worked out for me. So
amazing.
Oh, no.
And again, that's it for anybody watching and listening, is just
take
do
a
it.
chance.
Just, you know,
the
the
chance.
worst thing is somebody says no
100%.
and you wipe yourself down and you try again. But the idea that, you know, that's the beginning of that journey.
And no's are good as well, you know. You've got to have that in your life.
Of course. So, was that Saturday team member first, or were you straight in as an assistant at 15?
I was straight in as an assistant. I'll tell you a funny story. My mum, bless her, was all concerned about my hair, right? Because I was like wearing it spiky and stuff, so she's like, you need to get a demi wave. So she sent me up to a wee salon in View Park the day before.
Oh, brilliant.
For a demi wave.
Superb.
Needless to say, we all know what happens when you get a demi wave the day before you start a new job. So I was like a distressed poodle by the time I got in, and their actual words to me were, if you had come in here with your hair like that, you would never have got this job. So I had to go in like half hour earlier than the half hour we would normally go in, and somebody had to come in, blow dry my hair straight until that bad boy was out.
Wow. At least they didn't cut it off. I was waiting for the moral of the story was you were getting a wee crew cut.
Oh, it was quite short though, so it was very tight anyway.
Wow.
Hilarious.
Wow. You're kicking about like Princess Diana in the middle of all that. With
exactly, I know.
Wow. That's superb. Thanks, Mum.
I know.
Nearly the end of a glittering career.
Yeah, that was the last time I took hair advice off my mother.
Thankfully, she's been listening to you ever since. So, how long were you training?
So 3 years training.
Right, so it was like a proper old school apprenticeship.
And that was just how it worked in the salon. And then I was like one of the first, the youngest member on their art team actually. And I was only on the floor actually for a year. And we'd done so many amazing things. It was you know, just a couple of things that spring to mind that Irvin used to do because he was so much fun. Is he loved motorbikes. So when he would get like a new Harley, he'd take the assistants up and down Hamilton Road on the back of his Harley. The things we got up to, it was fabulous. And then I had a real hankering. I wanted to go to London. I wanted to really further my career and my education. Not that I'm saying there was anything wrong with my education. There was just something in me that wanted to do that. So that was in 1988. And I got my wee suitcase and off I went on the train, moved to London on a Saturday night.
It's pretty bold and pretty brave. It's really interesting because it matches up with timelines of, you know, I was really fortunate to go and see Sam McKnight when he came back up the road to do his thing, and talking about his length of time training and kind of talking about working in Scotland, but then having the guts to jump the bus or jump the train and come down to London. And it is pretty quick because you're not really sure of your own skin within 3 years. And again,
100%. I was only on the floor for a year as well.
There's no sat nav,
so
there's no Google, there's no, you're just turning up and going. So had you a plan of who you were going to speak to?
So my friend Natalie, she was a year before me, and she had done it because her parents had actually moved down from Scotland to Tunbridge Wells.
Right.
So she had started working in Trevor Sorbet, and she had like a lot of friends there, and they had accommodation in Camden. So I managed to rent a room there, and in my accommodation it was Antoinette Bienders, Shelley, and me and Natalie, and it was in Camden Square.
Wow.
And it was just such a great... I mean, she met me off the train at like 11 o'clock or something like that, at King's Cross, and I had one case. We went straight to the Wag Club.
night out with the suitcase.
I spent most of my money, like...
Brilliant.
But, it was a great time in life.
Yeah. So, had you interviewed yet anywhere? Or
No, so I was so confident, Ricardo, honestly. I was so confident.
No idea where you got that from, but anyway.
And I just thought I would go to London and I would get a job, and I was wrong.
Brilliant.
I was really wrong. So I used to go down to London, like, intermittently, because my friend was down in Tunbridge Wells. And we were always like hanging around outside Hyper,
yeah.
which was this really, really cool, like, clothes warehouse establishment sort of thing with like booths in it, and there was a hair salon in there, and every time I was down I would watch them,
right?
And they were amazing. So that was where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in the fashion, in there, and I was so naive and daft, right?
Yeah.
So I went in and I said to the guy, I would love to work in here. Me thinking, of course, that I would get a job straight away.
Yeah.
Never. And so he gave me a trial, and I didn't pass. And he said to me, look, you have definitely got something super creative about you, but you need to refine your skills a bit, my skill set a bit. And this guy was from Sassoon's. He'd opened that salon there. Okay. So actually, I did go to Sassoon's and I got an interview, and I did get a place for bartering. Yeah. But I couldn't afford it. Yeah. I just couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford what I wasn't getting paid. Yeah. So what I wasn't going to get paid, because it was
that
very
be 6 months?
Little at the time. And I was devastated. But so anyway, I worked in a couple of wee places, and then I just thought one day, no, I can do this. So again, I got myself an interview in Charles Worthington, and that was the original shop that was in Good Street, Charlotte Place. It was. And Charles was really like wanted to make a big name for himself. The dog's having a meltdown.
Max having a rummage on the sofa. You enjoying yourself over there, wee man? That was good. So interview at Charles.
So I had an interview at Charles, and met him and Alan, and Alan's his partner, and he's from Scotland as well. And we just had a great rapport. Got a job there, and I had a great time there. I mean, we'd done like, so I was on the floor as a stylist. They had amazing clients. He's very, very well connected, Charles Worthington. Yeah. And even at the time, and this is 40 years ago,
of course.
Even at the time, I used to do Jonathan Ross's hair, Betty Jackson, William Hart.
Wow.
I mean, it was endless. Yeah. It was an endless stream of high-end celebrities that would come into that salon, and it was just great fun.
And had Charles come from the sort of John Frieda lineage and all those kind of hairdressers?
Charles had come from a really cool salon that Zoe Irwin's come from there as well, and it's called Stage Door.
Right, all right.
And I don't know the linear.
From where they came from.
But he's a brilliant hairdresser and a brilliant visionary. Great. He was going to make it regardless. You could see that. Yeah.
And you do the idea of kind of that level of sort of, in inverted commas, high class salon. Yeah. You really link that to him about making hairdressing kind of really posh, and the environment being really salubrious and being beautiful, you know, and you kind of really link that with him. And he probably doesn't get the credit now as much as you probably should do.
He's retired now,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
he?
yeah. But as a brand, like people talk
as
about
a
brands.
brand,
Yeah,
I mean, it's still very luxe.
yeah,
Because it was the first time I'd ever seen, like, you know, every client was served champagne.
yeah.
And it was all the trays with the coffee cups and
yeah.
special chocolate, and they only played classical music.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so it was quite highfalutin.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had brilliant times. It was so he got to do his first ever show. Right, I love this story. It's brilliant. And then he had opened up the Covent Garden Salon by then. So he got to do this show, and we were all going to San Sebastian. So this was the first big international show that we had done, and Charles wanted to do it in style. So we all had to be at the Covent Garden Salon. We'd have all our clothes, all the models' clothes, wigs, etc., kit. Get there, and he's got a big surprise for us. So the next minute, a Bentley drives up.
Brilliant.
And this is our transport to the airport. And when we get in it, it's like champagne, all the rest of it. And he kept going on and on. Have we got everything? And we get to the airport, and we're all a nervous wreck. So we're like, oh my God, we forgot something. Got to the airport, and he'd forgot his suitcase.
Of course he had.
So it's just like, wow. And then we'd done the show, and it was amazing. And it was great fun. And they were a L'Oreal salon at the time. So then I started my educating career at such a young age there.
Right.
And I was teaching from the L'Oreal Academy.
Yeah.
So cutting courses, that sort of thing.
Right.
At that time, I have to tell you, I wasn't colouring.
Right.
I wasn't doing colour.
Only, yeah.
It was cut only because that was what it was in Irvine Rusk. Now, we did get taught colour theory and permanent theory, but we didn't really do it. We done highlights and stuff, but the proper colour theory of like a colour technician, what I do now, we didn't. That wasn't really a thing in Rusk. So when I went to London, you were either a cutter or a colourist.
Because it was the norm, wasn't it? It was kind of, you know, it's one of these things in Alan's story that he did basically break the mould.
Yeah, he did.
With doing, you know, that your hairdresser and your cutter and your colourist was the same person, you know, and it's people are used to that now, and it's became a thing. And again, it's one of these little rainbow room fingerprints that are in the industry that people don't really realise that Alan did that. Whereas, obviously, your journey is exactly how it was at that time. It's mega ironic now for you know the amount of awards and things that have been done and things that have been done under the name of colour. That wasn't your initial focus. But again, not a surprise that once you got into, I didn't realise your education journey had started that early.
It started so early. And like, I don't really know if I was fully ready for it. But Charles was like very confident in me, and he really pushed me. So, and we done, I mean, incredible things. Like we done a show for Princess Diana in Kensington Palace, and it was a show for Vivienne Westwood.
Wow.
So I don't know if you remember the picture where Vivienne Westwood turns up at Kensington Palace and she's got the see-through dress with the leaves. It was that.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that was like, you know, it was an unbelievable experience.
There's 2 levels of royalty there.
Exactly.
There's like,
I know what one I'm going with.
Well, exactly, yeah. But you know, that's it. You kind of, and that's one of the, and the presents are just absolute genius. And
Charles was doing the hair for the show, and we were there doing the hair as well, and it was
Worthington, not Windsor.
Exactly.
Keys are short. Oh, brilliant!
It was just brilliant. I had loads of great opportunities there. I took the full floor in the Royal Albert Hall, doing the L'Oreal Colour Trophy right in the middle, doing a hair up. And at the time, I never really realised what was going on, to be honest with you, you know, because I was just having a great time in London. I was getting these opportunities, and see, when I think back on it now, I'm like, oh my God, Suzie.
Yeah. if in doubt, just dive in. Don't overthink it, because if, as you say now, if you overthought it, you probably wouldn't have put yourself into the situation.
Yeah.
And again, back to the telephones and all that, maybe knowing too much is actually a bad thing. You know,
100%, because the confidence wouldn't have been, you know, I think like social media is an amazing thing,
of course,
right? But we are human, and we do compare ourselves to other people. But at that point in my life, there wasn't really a comparison.
No.
Do you know?
Yeah.
So obviously there was icons that I loved, and I lived and breathed it. But I wasn't like scrolling through pictures every day, and I just had my own organic ideas about how hairdressing should be for me.
And how did it feel? Was there still a kind of male imbalance in it all at that point, be it either stylist or educator, certainly salon owner, I guess?
Yeah. Do you know, I'm asked this question quite a lot because of my career and being a female. I have never really felt that presence too much. I think I'm quite confident that way, that and I've always worked with guys, and I've always worked with females, and worked alongside amazing hairdressers, lived alongside amazing hairdressers. So I've never felt that imbalance, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people have, so I'm not saying that it isn't there, but for me that was never really a problem. Most of my best friends were guys, and well, that's not true, it was like a 50-50. So
got you. And again as well, you know, further down the lines when we get to sort of the Rainbow Room journey, because Alan and Linda were sort of equal figureheads, and there was as many female directors as male directors, all that. It's never ever felt like that, you know. But just the idea of being at the cutting edge of these things in those times, even more so Linda, I guess, that there maybe wasn't just quite, you know, I mean, there you go, you're talking about Irvin and Rita winning British hairdressing. She was the first woman to win it at that time. So you were around that period of that breaking
women
the mold,
empowerment,
which was
and
amazing.
you know, I would say like in Russ as well, it was quite women heavy. So that was just the environment that I was brought up in. Obviously a family of 4 sisters. My mum
wasn't going to change,
you know, being the matriarch. So
that's amazing. So how long were you with Charles? How long was that?
So I was with Charles for 3 years, and and I had an amazing time, and everything amazing. Everything that happened there was really amazing. There was still a need in me, because that voice was always there, you know, about the guy when I'd went for the job, that I needed more training. And my friends were all working in Sorbies, and I had become really, really good friends with the art director of Sorbies, actually, Robert Morrison, who's sadly passed now. But he was just an incredible guy, and he just really, we used to go out and party, we used to go to Heaven, the WAG, like Shoom, all of these iconic clubs in London, and he would just get you right in and stuff. So, and then he was like, I really want you to come and work with us. I want you to come and do some vardering. And I mean, don't get me wrong, see, for my age, I was earning really good money. So it was a bit of a decision. So I took a leap of faith, and I had my test at Trevor Sorby, and so you have to do 7 models, and you need to get the models yourself. So they're just street models, the way we used to have to do it. I still do it. I still find myself chasing people down the street, and it was Trevor and Eugene that took my test.
Wow, was it?
It was
no pressure. No pressure. Two of the most iconic names in Great British hairdressing ever.
And that's your in and out test. That's not just, you know, so that's just to get in as a varderer. And then you've got your 6 months of vardering. Actually, mine were 6 weeks.
Wow, brilliant.
Done 6 weeks, and then I got out and I was a stylist on the floor. And it was great. It was really great times in the days. I had a brilliant time. I had a nice clientele, and you know, there was a lot of amazing hairdressers in there. It was very competitive, And then...
So is this early 90s now? Is this...
So this is like very early 90s, yeah. So like 91 sort of thing. And then I started getting invited to do a bit of session work, and I really loved that as well. So I was invited along to do quite a lot of shows, and then I decided I was going to pursue that career.
Brilliant.
So I went to work for another company in Covent Garden called Zoo, and it was all session workers that worked in there at the time. And I just really wanted to explore that, whether it was a mistake leaving or not a mistake. I never really get my head around that. But it's took me to great things anyway, and I had that experience, and I loved that experience. And I met great friends there as well. So
if you had that feeling to do the other thing, though, then it was the right decision.
It was the right decision.
Wasn't it? You wouldn't, if you know, it's a long time down the road to be second guessing a decision that took you on a path to, pardon my French, but greatness. You know what I mean? So it's easy to look at it and go, and no doubt you'd have made an absolute success of that, and there would have been another channel, and it would have went in a different way.
100%.
But
things were just really different then, you know. It was just a different time. I know now that, you know, in a lot of the big salons as well, like they're really heavily into the session stuff, but it was quite hard to get a breakthrough at this point for me. So that's what I'd done, and then that led on to being a groomer for Christian Dior.
Right.
A gents groomer for Christian Dior, and working with this fashion brand in London at the time that was called the 7 Deadly Sins, and we used to do crazy stuff, crazy shoots like in hospitals with entrails, and it was all about fashion and hair and in building sites.
Wow.
Dogs, like models floating on pools and Hampstead Heath, and just it was just crazy. And do you know what? I don't have any pictures.
Is that right?
It's terrible.
Is that right?
I could actually just like clump myself in the head, but I do have great memories of it all.
And would there not been an archive area? Would there not?
Well, I've got like magazines and stuff like that, because at the time it was like Face and ID, so I've got all the documents from that. But
Face was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh,
Face,
I mean, if your pictures were in there, you'd need it, you know. So
to this day, whenever a guy comes in with long hair, William, actually, you're kind of right at that point. And my favourite Face cover of all time was De Niro had obviously been doing Cape Fear, and he had that big wild hair, and then he'd had it all cut off, and it was just nape of the neck, you know, Italian gangster slick back. You know, just slick back, and it was just
so
the
cool.
photograph was brilliant. The hair was brilliant. He'd had a black suit, white shirt, black tie. And it would have been in black and white as well, as far as I can remember. And it was just an amazing cover. And at that point, Face became my kind of Bible. At that, that was the one I would look at more than anything else.
And it was always the wink eye, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was
which needless to say, now because of the internet, I found out that's a completely different thing. And if I've got one eye, they're obviously sold us soul to the devil. And who knew? I thought they were just being cheeky.
Right, okay.
Who knew? All this stuff. You're like, oh right, okay. Well, I'm making sure there's nothing in the background here that would be remotely. So the magazine. So were you? But were you still cutting?
I was
still doing clients
hair.
and stuff?
I was still doing clients, and then Zoo decided to. So they had a really beautiful salon in Islington. Their original one was Covent Garden. Then Islington was their new salon, and it was an art gallery as well.
Wow.
And it was really unbelievable, and it was owned by a guy called Tony, who. I think Tony was Malaysian or something, but he was a trans at the weekend. A transvestite at the weekend. He'd go out dressed up. He was so beautiful, and he was such a beautiful character. And the girl that was running it, Debbie Sherrod, she became a great friend of mine, and we had amazing times there. It was a great place to work. I made great friends. I had amazing opportunities. And yeah, that kind of takes you up to like 93.
Right.
And I got pregnant with my son.
Yeah.
So I was young. You know, I was young, but I was so happy. And I'd had quite a full, fun-packed career at that time. I wasn't thinking of giving it up or anything like that, but...
and it's still in a period of time where having a kid and having a job or career was still a bit...
Yeah.
Kind of not sure you can do that.
Yeah. But I did.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I didn't go back to work properly probably till my son Ryan was... I was doing like part-time work, still in Zoo.
Yeah.
And she had opened up another salon by then in Islington again on Upper Street. And this was like a total design piece, like before its time, very minimalistic, super cool. And then when Ryan started school, and I was on my own by this time, then I went back to work full time and I had a brilliant career there. I had a great time. We done amazing stuff, met some great people, still dabbling in session work here and there wherever I could get it. Just things were coming out the blue, you know. And it was really good. It was a really good time, and I was just enjoying bringing my son up. And,
of course.
And then my sister, Sam, at the time was just doing so well. Like, she was doing so well with the Rainbow Room, and she was travelling Europe with you guys, and you were doing all sorts, weren't you?
Yeah. Oh, no, it was.
You know, we're kind of jumping now to like...
Well, it's late 90s now,
yeah,
isn't
late
it?
90s, you know, so...
you kind of joined, because obviously, you know, our timeline with myself and Sam obviously came together like kind of young artistic team in 96 and all that kind of stuff, and working through, and there did seem to just all of a sudden be, because obviously Alan had launched the product line, and we just all of a sudden went from being this really nice trendy place to get your hair cut in Glasgow to just going woof, and then completely feeling comfortable to walk with your head up around all of the biggest names you'd ever thought of in your life. And it, and, you know, and you go with that wee Scottish syndrome of going, well, we're not going to be as good as these guys, and bloody. And Alan and Linda never let you think that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, they'd stood on stage in New York and Italy and all around the world. And when it was getting to that point, mid to late 90s, it wasn't hype anymore. You know, they weren't bigging it up. It was absolutely, the turnover in Buchanan Street at that point, at probably 96, 98, is probably as big as anybody was turning over any kind of
100%.
money, client numbers, and all of that kind of stuff. And the great thing is that was always married with some sort of creative work at all times, whether it was education, show, photographs, or whatever. So the idea that the jungle drums of that's getting back down to you, and with all of the channels that you'd been through, that was still piquing your interest, probably says more about it than anything. You know, when you're sitting there rhyming off the names that you're rhyming off, and the opportunities that you've had, places that you've worked, and the opportunities that you've done, to still go, right, wait a minute.
I know. Well, I mean, I was just really happy for her. She was so happy in her job and her career, and I was being a mum, you know, and I was a single mum, so after Ryan was about 3, so I was being a mum, and I was doing my job and still really passionate about it, but I was listening all the time, you know, and my sister would be coming down, staying with me, and then going to the awards and stuff, and I was thinking, wow, that's an opportunity. But my son was at school, so there's lots of decisions there of what am I going to do, and then eventually in 2000 I thought, I'm out. I want to chase. I mean, it wasn't as simple as that. Like, it was over a period of time, like talking to my sister and then talking to John Parker. You know, when I would come up to visit Glasgow, because I love Glasgow. It is my favourite city. I love the people. It's genuine, you know, it's super stylish, and it's really music heavy as well, which we love, you know. So there was always that energy there that I've always been a Glaswegian. So yeah, and then eventually, you know, my mum wasn't great at the time actually, and I just really wanted my son to experience time with my mum and dad.
Of course. Yeah.
And that was the ultimate push.
That finished it. Amazing. So summer 2000, was it kind of, you know, when did you come up? Was it kind of middle of the year?
And it was May.
Right,
it was
so
May
just the
time that
beginning
I
of
came up. Yeah. So timelines, I would say my timelines are a wee bit rusty.
I don't. We all have. I was
May.
sitting here going, what? There was a flood in 15. When did that happen? Like, I mean, walking into Great Western Road at that point in time, that's how when for all that I've been involved in members of some amazing teams and some amazing energies over my time at Rainbow Room, there was a period of time that if you'd have said, how would you like your salon to be, Ricardo, there would have been that sort of peak Great Western Road moment where you go, if I could have that amount of clients, that amount of stylists, and that turnover of quality of work coming out, and then the artistic output, I'd bite your hand off. I think that's been hard to match.
Yeah,
actually, at that point
it was
in time.
a powerhouse.
Yeah,
you know? And then went up, done my trial for John, and he was really nervous, and I was really nervous.
I was going to say, John still made you do a trial.
Of course, I insisted.
You showing him how to do
it? I'm sure he made me do a trial. He'll tell you different. But we were both quite nervous about it, you know, because it's funny when somebody comes in from another salon. I've experienced that now as a director, that you had a wee bit like nervous, you know, when you're taking somebody through something, and
especially then because it was really abnormal then.
Yeah,
you know, it's maybe now that we don't necessarily have as many people on the floor that had went through the initial training, and have obviously then went back through the academy and the directors courses to make sure that they're doing it to the way that we want them to do it. But obviously then, especially then, late 90s, early 2000s, pretty much 90% of the people on the floor had been through the academy and were Rainbow Room babies.
That's
you know.
Right.
So it was always.
It was
I know it was the weirdest thing for
heavy.
me at the start.
Yeah,
it was different now, but you know, when I first opened, and it was just like,
who is that?
Hi.
What are they doing here?
Why are you holding that brush at me?
And then that was just an absolute blast. I mean, John Parker and Joe Parker are really, really good friends of mine, and John was an amazing boss. Yeah. And they were really into figures as well. So Will was in that salon as well that time, managing, and him and John had this amazing synergy. You know, the meetings were really important. Your figures were super important. Obviously, that comes right down from Alan and Linda, like all the training. And it was just brilliant. It was very different for me because then I had to start colouring. So that's where my colour journey started.
Wow, that's amazing.
26 years ago.
That's amazing.
And they taught me, and then obviously all the courses in the academy. Then I done my colour masters, and I fell in love with it. And I fell in love with the whole, like, I could create this look and I could be in control of it. Not that I'm a control freak.
No comment.
You know?
No comment. No comment.
And that I could produce what I needed to produce.
You were always going to use the word create. I was waiting to see, because it's added another level of creativity to your finished look, be it a stage look, be it a photograph, that yes, you are in control of, but I think control's the wrong word, because you've got a vision in your mind, and it can be, whether it's music, whether it's film, whether it's art, to get that image out of your head and onto tape or onto paper or
into somebody else's brain.
That's
really
probably
difficult.
The hardest. You know, even in a consultation, that's probably the hardest.
Because that means then that you're working in a duo. Yeah. You know, which we'll talk about it later, because I do love doing that.
Yeah.
also, and I'm a big team player that way. But
it must have been nice for that
so
period
nice.
to have just that.
And it was so nice just to learn all this new stuff as well. So I really, you know, because people that I've maybe worked with in the past, like when I was in London and I had my career in different salons, are always like, God, I never knew that you'd done colour. And I was like, well, I never. Until I went back to Rainbow Room.
Which then makes so much sense with your sort of life with Schwarzkopf now. Because ultimately, as much as, you worked in all these other salons and there would have been other brands there, they weren't your brand.
No, they weren't my brand.
So for all, I've only ever squeezed the tube of a Schwarzkopf tube. Ultimately, so have you.
Yeah.
It's just a different timeline and a different arrival to that journey.
Yeah, because I wasn't doing colour at all.
Doing it, which again, wasn't quite aware of that in the story. You know, that's really interesting, especially with the journey that you've had with them.
Yeah, my colour story started in Rainbow Room International, and I'm, you know, eternally grateful for that, because it's my biggest passion. Yeah. You know, so
it's wild, isn't it?
It just shows you how you can do anything, you know.
So at what point, I mean, you pretty much just broke into the art team straight away, didn't you?
I broke into the art team straight away. And I'll tell you a funny story. So Will was doing, I was only there for 2 weeks.
I didn't realise it was quite that quick. Well, was a chancer, and he just went.
No, Will was away doing his shoot.
Oh, right.
He was doing his shoot, and Alan came into the salon, and he's like, "Right, come on, I'm going to take you up to the shoot." Now, I used to, when I was doing a bit of session work, I'd done a wee bit of makeup as well. Not extensively. You've seen me doing it on big shows and stuff like that, you know, when we were younger. And we got into the car, and it must have been a wee bit longer than that. Maybe it was like 46 weeks, because it was a warm day, because I had sandals on. And funnily enough, we got outside, there's Alan's Bentley. Seems to be a Bentley suit.
I know, it's a running theme.
I was like, rubbing my toes on the carpet. That's why I know I had sandals on. Sorry, Alan. And when we got in, the makeup wasn't working the way Will had wanted it to, so I had kind of taken over that. And I was just fascinated to see what he was doing, and he's such a good hairdresser. Well, you know, he was really incredible, and that was just where it all started.
Wow, right.
So it was really quick.
And so from the next year, were you guys going in as a partnership at that point then for the awards? Like from that year on?
I think so, but I can't remember.
No, I know. I was trying to remember. Will mentioned, I forgot to actually check him, because you obviously get nominated. Get nominated 4 times as a partnership. It was something mental, wasn't it?
Right? Oh my God.
It was something mental. I know. I'm trying to remember.
It is crazy, honestly. But yes, we worked together. We had a brilliant time together. We had a great team. We used to go down to London and shoot with Martin Evening, who's sadly gone as well now.
I'm in Martin Evening's book because he was mucking about. I had these fake, we were down doing The Edge.
Oh yeah.
And I'd done my models, and I had these fake Dracula teeth or something, right?
Well, I must have been there.
He went
that time.
And he was taking pictures. He was taking these daft pictures of me, and then he went, right, let me take a picture of you with the bloody teeth in, right? And he took this picture of me. And I'm infamous for getting red eye in photographs all the time. So he phoned me a couple of weeks later. He said, listen, I'm putting a book together of explaining how to fix things and what to look for and all that. And he went, I said, and I took those daft pictures I took of. He says, the one that you've not got the teeth in, you've got screaming red eye in it. Can I use the picture in my book? I'm like, of course you can. But he sent me up and printed one of the ones with me with the teeth in, and I've still got it, and the stairs up to my office wall, it's still there. That. And he was the guy. That was the first time I'd ever been at that level of photo shoot before, because he'd done the artistic team stuff as well. So he was the first guy, and he was just tick box, one of the good guys. He was just, there was no need for him to be as nice as he was to me at the level that he first met me at. and he was the same when I was a wee guy learning to being a wee guy actually at the shoot doing my thing. And he was just one of the good guys. That was a hard one because it was really young and we were all still of an age, and when that happened you go, God, that's a wee shame. But yeah, I've got loads of these.
That was a wonderful shoot.
The edge was brilliant.
A beautiful shoot.
The edge was brilliant. I've still got all
the creating that haircut, like when we all worked together. So there was like, you know, Will, Charlotte, Sarah Jane, like you, they're all of us were all working together.
That was amazing.
On creating the balance of that haircut, and that was a really great time. That was it was
brilliant. And what was really exciting about that was it was minimum colour in the right places. Yeah. That was, and again, that was the first time you were sort of going, all right, it doesn't need to be this massive, that it can literally be this edge on a fringe or a tiny wee bit of colour. It was beautiful. I've still got the standby boards from them. I've still got all my Polaroids. I've got them all on the wall, and I've got the journal when the original collection was launched. For that, because that really was a moment in time, and you know, full circle, but Sarah Jane's obviously back with the brand, and she's in the air, and it's amazing. And she was walking up the wall and screeched when she saw it. She's like, oh my God, the edge. And then she came in 2 weeks later, she still got her Polaroid from her shoot.
Oh my God.
And the great thing about that was her Spock fringe. Remember, she had that big pointy fringe, and Alan lost his mind over it. He was raging. What the hell's this? And blah, blah. And that fringe has been ripped off and been copied and been used in so many haircuts since. And just constantly look at it going, Sarah Jane's fringe, you know.
Honestly.
It's just
and at the time as well, like, my gosh, she would walk round the West End and there was just all these girls were like, you know, because it was everything that was based on that when we were creating that. The story behind it was the 5-point haircut. The Reed Alsison 5-point haircut. And then everybody just went off in their own wee mysterious ways. And so you would see all these girls just knocking about the West End, like wild haircuts, Spock fringes. Like.
And the thing about that period of time is, when you talk to Andrew about that, he just thought that was the norm, and we'd just start leathering things into people's heads, and then going, no, that's not. She's just wanting a wee trim. She's just wanting a bob. Like, no, bosh. And I love that. So, in amongst all of this, then obviously yourself and Suzie are then, yourself and Sam are then going, right, wait a minute.
So that was. No, because that was quite a long journey then. And like after 5 years with the company, I actually became the art director. Right. Before I became, had my own salon. So in that time, actually, just some of the things that we had done, some of the opportunities that I had gone away, and then the travel was really heavy at that point, like a lot in Italy, and then we started doing things in Russia.
That's right.
And me, Luke and Charlotte we'd done a show in the Kremlin for 5,000 people. And they had Scotland flags up the back, because strangely enough, we'd been in Siberia like a couple of months before, and Luke always took a gift.
Right.
And he'd taken a Scotland flag to them, and they came and seen us in the Kremlin.
That's amazing.
And done that. So that was a massive, massive highlight, and I just thought this company is like next level incredible. Yeah. And I knew I'd be here forever. I just thought this is it for me.
That's funny. This isn't it?
This is the best group of people. Everybody had a career path. There was so many opportunities, and it's not just for our company, which I'm so proud of. It's not just a career path of being a creative person. There's so many opportunities for like managers, educators, you know, and I think that's what's really all encompassing and amazing about the Rainbow Room is they cover everything. Because not everybody wants to, and you know, they really look after the solid hairdresser that just wants to be in the salon, earn money, you know.
They want to do their 96, but they want to do, as you say, they want to do it in a solid manner, and and that should be celebrated as much as anything else.
As much as anything, and we do celebrate
of course,
that.
no, exactly. Yeah, that's what Congress is
really
all about.
that.
It's your self-improvement award all over, isn't it?
And then Sam and I. So this is our 20th year.
Right. Oh, brilliant.
So in I was going to say 2016, but that's 10 years ago. Goodness gracious me.
That's how it feels. That's how it feels.
So in 26, we'd been in a long talks with Alan in London, lots of training and trying to find the right property.
Mm-hmm.
So when Uddingston come up, we were both like, that's a bit of a 360.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a weird one for us, going back home, if you like.
Of course, yeah.
You know? But actually it turned out to be the best thing we've ever done.
Perfect. Well, how could we not pause after a statement like that? That's
Have we done another?
You'd have thought we'd have scripted it if you'd have paused at that point. This is always the point where William goes, I don't know how you do this, and it's like, it's complete fluke. That's how.
The stories.
You've come up.
We're not filming that, are we?
We are still filming just now.
No.
The camera does the go off till I don't stop talking. So yeah, that's a perfect start. We've got from basically your entire journey up into getting the salon, and we've probably missed out about another 5 hours. We might we'll get you back in when it comes to talk about the art team. We'll start all over again, because that's a whole separate one. Well, it's going to be a separate one. For those of you going, I want to know more about that, you will. Don't worry, there will be more. But for now, thanks very much.
Thank you. That was great, Ricardo.
Brilliant. Well done.
You.